welcome to Robert Sarazin Blake from the Kitchen Table. I'm Robert Sarazin Blake. This is the Kitchen Table, and my wonderful co-host David Bender Lofgren is not on the stage tonight. He is behind the scenes. He's around the corner. He is making everything happen, connecting the ones, the zeros, the cables, and the screens to bring me to you and all across the kitchen table, stretching across this planet and all planets who are tuned in. Thank you for being here. Our guest tonight is Willi Carlisle. He'll be up in a few. So very much looking forward to hearing Willi play. And this is the start of Season 5. We began the live stream in March of 2020. And we've kept it going. We took a break after St. Patrick's Day, and now here we are again, starting Season 5. Zoe's been drinking, Zoe's been drinking, Zoe's been drinking again. Last time I saw her out on the town, she had all 4 sheets in the wind. At first I was afraid to join the parade, but soon enough I jumped in. Zoe was drinking, Zoe was drinking, Zoe was drinking again. It started on a Sunday and moved to a Monday, Tuesday with a country band too. Wednesday found us out at the Grand, something we all used to do. The band still plays, but I'm afraid the nights I make it all few. Unless Zoe's been drinking, Zoe's been drinking, Zoe's been drinking again. And she says, I'm going to Mexico. I said, I've heard that line before. She said, you don't believe me. You don't believe me. You never believe me. It's true. All I've said, though often read, it was all so blue. But if you don't trust, I'll do what I must. I'll fly away from you. That's when I just say, Zoe's been drinking. Zoe's been drinking, Zoe's been drinking again. Well, we have a trivia question each week here at Robert Sarazin Blake from the Kitchen Table. And those of you at home can answer the trivia question in the comments. And those of you here watching, you can just think about it. I will reveal the answer to the trivia question at the third song check-in, which you can imagine comes after the third song. And most weeks I remember to answer the trivia question. It's true. So chances are really good I'm going to let you know the question. Now, in American folk music, when is it? Well, let me make sure I got this right now. Aha! In American folk music, what bird is it that doesn't make a noise until the 4th day of July? That is the question here. I see some people who know that answer so quickly, and other people feel like even when they learn it, they won't ever really retain it. So that's just the way it works here. It's that way with trivia everywhere. This is my new big number called My Town, Your Town. On this rainy morning, the clouds are talking to each other, talking about going somewhere else for the night. They're just hanging around, just hanging around. Yeah, my town's like your town. It's a lot like a lot of other towns. No one's hanging around downtown anymore. Everyone's home and maybe just going to the store. Yeah, my town is like your town. It's a lot like a lot of other towns. No one's downtown hanging around. Everyone's home and you get to feeling a little bit alone. Yeah, my town's like your town. It's a lot like all the other towns. Everyone's just sitting around. Sometimes you get to feeling down. Turn on the television, the radio, trying to connect and compound. Sometimes you sit there scrolling, searching for some kind of sound. Searching for some kind of common sound. Yeah, my town's like your town. It's a lot like a lot of other towns. No one's hanging downtown. That's the place we'd go and wanted to be around some people we didn't even have to talk to. Man, we could just be around town. But there is no town when you can't go downtown. Out in the park, out on the street, see a table, grab a seat. Yeah, my town is like your town. It's a lot like a lot of other towns. No one's hanging around downtown, reminding each other there is in each other. Only images we're getting are through the screen, forgetting what it's like to see, to touch, or to feel. Yeah, my jamboree is a lot like your jamboree. It's better than no jamboree, so we're all kind of here. It's so strange not to have someone to hug you, hug me. Yeah, my jamboree is a lot like your jamboree. It's better than no jamboree, so we're all kind of here, living this life of the tin can jamboree. Empty park, empty street, empty table, empty seat. Yeah, my town is like your town. It's a lot like a lot of other towns. No one's hanging around downtown. Everyone's staying home when you get to feeling a little bit alone. From my town to your town, across the ocean, up and down, Antarctic and Arctic. Depends where you stand and which way is up and which is down. Australia, Vietnam. My town's like your town, all the other towns. No one's hanging downtown, forgetting what it's like to be around. Don't want to forget what it's like to be around. Want to feel how it feels to be around. Don't want to forget what it's like to be around. Want to feel how it feels to be around. Used to meet people out on the street, off to the bar, some pal to meet. The ringleader, the squirrely neater. We all need some sort of acceptance to feel like we caught the bus, to feel like we're us. Some people, you know, give exceptional acceptance a wonderful circumstance if you got the chance. But average acceptance is generally fine. How often can you open up your heart? You're gonna end up crying. Just the acceptance of you there, me here, eating a sandwich, drinking a beer. Handsome man with a mustache, bank teller with a private stash. Don't want to forget what it's like to be around. Want to feel how it feels to be around. Don't want to forget what it's like. My town's like your town's like all the other towns. No one's hanging around. Want to feel how it feels to be around. You get to feel a little bit alone. You know, my town is like your town. It's like all these. Don't want to forget what it's like to be around. No one's going out. You're just staying home. You get to feel. Want to feel how it feels to be around. My town is like your town. It's like all the other towns. My town is like your town. Thank you very much, everybody here in the live audience down here at Boundary Bay Brewery. And the season of coming downtown is just starting to start. And we think it's for real this time. Last summer it was only kind of for real. I mean, we did it, but we were concerned. We're still concerned. I know more people who have COVID right now than I've ever known people who have COVID. I don't mean people who have had it. I mean people who physically have it right now. More friends than ever. So hearts go out to everybody who's suffering from COVID. What a drag to have it. We've lost, what is the number? Look at, is it 1 million people just in this country alone? So we're in a different world than we were 2 years ago. And we're going to get through it. We're going to keep going. Here we are, the kitchen table. Starts off season 5. And we have the one and only Willi Carlisle, who is our very special guest here at the kitchen table. So excited to have Willi. So excited that it's going to be a little bit of a different show. Normally I play about 6 songs and get out of the way, but I'm only going to do 3 songs and then get out of the way because we got Willi here. And the world has seen Robert Sarazin Blake on the stage at Boundary Bay Brewery, and it's going to keep seeing Robert Blake on the stage at Boundary Bay Brewery, but we don't need to see too much of it tonight. I gave you all my kisses in a poem, babe, in a poem, babe, in a poem. The ones you said you've been missing, babe, in a poem, babe, in a poem. There was no start, there was no middle, there was no middle, there was no end. Just an old man sawing on the fiddle, babe, and the poem, babe, that I made. Someday I'm gonna kiss your face, babe. Someday I'm gonna kiss your face. I will try and compensate, babe, for all the lines I made. For I gave you all my kisses in a poem, babe, in a poem, babe, in a poem. The ones you said you've been missing, babe, in a poem, babe, in a poem. Thank you very much. And those of you who know, and those of you who don't know, you're about to find out that it is time for the, I don't have the bell, I have a cup. That'll work. I think we'll have to pipe in something else in the live stream there that's a little bit. It is time for the third song check-in. What's that? That's a time to check in with each other, see how we're doing out there in comment land. And I have asked the question, what bird is it that doesn't make a sound until the 4th of July? And for those of you who started learning banjo at a young age, you're well aware that it is the cuckoo. The cuckoo. And we have a lot of people. Peter Williams says it's the cuckoo. Henry St. Clair from St. Louis says it's the cuckoo. And Junior Stanley says it sounds awesome. And I'm not sure he's talking about the show or if he's talking about the cuckoo. But I do think it's worth mentioning. See, I thought of this question because we're experiencing spring. And some people are like, Willie, don't know that spring in the Pacific Northwest starts right around Valentine's Day and goes all the way until the 4th of July, and summer starts on the 5th of July. And so I think that the person who wrote the cuckoo was actually here in the Pacific Northwest, because that is when summer begins, when the cuckoo starts to sing. So we are all looking forward to, I guess that's 2 months until it warms up here in the Pacific Northwest. So we're just enjoying the fact that it's not quite as cold as it used to be, and it's light out, and we have each other, and we have the music. And we are enjoying the fact that one of the finest singers that I know has moved to the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, the most northwest state in the lower 48, and she is there in the Columbia neighborhood. She snuck into town in the middle of a pandemic. Would you please welcome to the kitchen table, guess who stopped by the kitchen table? That's Elizabeth Laprelle. Welcome her up to the stage, please. So excited to have Elizabeth here, and she will be playing in June. June 23, she'll be up here with the one and only Jefferson Hamer, and I guess we could have adjusted the microphone for our special guest, but this is not Elizabeth's first kitchen table. You're just dropping by.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Bellingham.
Thank you.
I'm so happy you're here.
I'm glad to be here, especially now that it's light out and spring is here.
You're really learning about the Pacific Northwest spring. In West Virginia, are you West Virginia?
Western Virginia.
Western Virginia. Now, that's different than in the still of the night and the pale moonlight. It's a whole different sort of vibe. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's going on in Western Virginia right now?
Oh gosh, well, my parents are there.
But weather-wise, is the cuckoo? Does the cuckoo already sing?
Well, so in the far western part of the state, which is where I grew up and where I was living before this, it's like getting really warm and nice, and then snapping back because it's in the mountains, right? So it's like it's down south, but it's high elevation, so it'll get like super cold for a couple of days, and then everything will like start to bloom and blossom and feel really lush, and then sneak attack is going to be really cold again. So that's what it's doing now.
And the mountains, the music comes from the mountains, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, music comes from everywhere, but
well, I would be inclined to think that way. But people are always talking about the mountains, the music, you know.
Yeah, well, you know,
the plains. You don't hear that. I mean, Woody Guthrie's from the plains, so
Yeah.
you know it does come from everywhere.
There's great music from everywhere. The sea, you know, the plains, everything. But in the mountains, the kind of music that I do is from the mountains, and that's very handy because I'm from the mountains as well.
And you think, is that because there's a reverberation that happens when they're in a mountain, and you can, when you sing, you can hear it come back at you, and that sort of gives a feeling.
It is pretty cool. Yeah.
Does that happen where you live? Is there a reverberation?
There are certain spots, yes.
Wow.
So my parents' farm is in a valley. So as you're walking down along the road, kind of at the bottom of the valley there are certain areas where if you're maybe each slope is kind of like close enough, you can get a little reverberation going.
So is there something to it? Now, a valley and a holler.
Ah, yeah.
A
holler is like a smaller, more steep valley.
Yeah.
So if you're hearing like, I'd rather be in some dark holler where the sun refused to shine.
Yes.
That's because it's so steep that like the sun is, you like almost never see it because it's like, you know, midday before it actually comes out from behind that high mountain.
Are there hollers in your original part of the world there before you moved here in a holler-free area?
I would say you have to go like a little bit farther west, actually, even to like towards the Kentucky border to get to like true hollers.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's close.
Well, it's fun to chat with you. It's fun to have you here. And we have new people arriving here in our live audience, and I hope new people arriving here in the online audience. And I hope you're going to sing for us.
Yeah, I have a song all picked out.
Okay, what is it?
It's called Awake, Awake, You Drowsy Sleeper, and it's from a great singer. I learned it from a recording of a great singer named Rebecca King Jones from North Carolina.
Well, just because we can, because we have a live audience for the first time in a year for this show. We've been in David's cold garage all winter. Let's have a nice round of applause to welcome Elizabeth to sing this song here. Sounds like a spring-oriented song. Wake up, you sleepy.
Yeah. Awake, awake, you drowsy sleeper. is almost day. How can you sleep, you cruel creature, since you have stolen my heart away? Oh, hush, 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 don't you wake my mother. No songs of love will she let me hear. If you sing songs, go pray, court some other, or whisper lowly in my ear. My father lies on the next room simple, taking of his natural rest, and in his right hand he holds a weapon. He says he'll kill the one I love best. Come, Polly Bond, come, you'll stop my pining. Sit you down by the side of me and put your loving little arms around me and say you'll love no one but me. I'll go with you in some lonesome valley. There I will spend my days with you, though all my meals'll be of the freshest berries, and the water I drink of the morning dew. Pretty flowers was made to bloom, love. Pretty stars was made to shine. Pretty girls was made for boys to love. And maybe you was made for mine.
Woo! Beautiful.
Oh, thank you so
Beautiful.
much. Awake, awake.
Thank you so much for dropping by the kitchen table. Is there anything you'd like to tell the people here in the world at large about that's going on in your life that maybe they could participate as a listener in another capacity?
Certainly. Yeah, I share a song a month on my Patreon at patreon.com/ElizabethLaprelle. And I also teach online lessons in ballad singing, but also just singing in general, and a little bit of clawhammer banjo. So if you're interested in that, you can email me at elizabethlaprelle@gmail.com.
Excellent. Thank you so
Thanks
much
for
for
having
coming by the kitchen table, and we hope to have you as our full guest on a June Sunday. Elizabeth Laprelle, what a pleasure to have her. Moved to the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, the most northwest state in the lower 48. That is here, Bellingham, Washington. We are here in the beer garden at the Boundary Bay Brewery. That's Bellingham's backyard. So just buckle in and keep Boundary on your radar all summer long, because the hits are going to keep on coming. And I'm going to invite to the stage a man I met today for the first time in the flesh, but we did meet at the kitchen table through the ones and the zeros, the cables and the screens a while ago. Let's have another round of applause. That's Willi Carlisle is coming to the stage. Welcome, my friend, originally from Illinois, sometimes from Arkansas, but I have come to understand this man comes all the way from wherever he hangs his hat.
I was born and raised in Kansas, and then I lived in it's like everybody's from everywhere. Borders are imaginary. Borders are an invention of the state.
100%.
It's the mind has no borders, and the internet probably shouldn't have them. Thank you for joining us on the internet.
The internet should have no borders.
I don't really know what that would look like.
We're going to tackle that next week. We're going to get deep into that next week, because I think that's the kind of thought that's like we're going to have a happy hour and talk about that kind of stuff, and then we can Sunday kitchen table sort of digress into that and what we
I
come
didn't
up with.
inform the committee ahead of time that we would be.
Oh,
doing
well, that's the nature of the kitchen table. That things are happening left, right, and center. And people have always moved around, so people shouldn't get too excited when somebody from somewhere else moves into their neighborhood. They should just welcome them and say, hey, we have water here, so come on over and have a drink. And I'm going to get off the stage away from the kitchen table just to let this man do his thing in a minute after we just chat just the tiniest bit more.
That's great. No,
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
you were going to sit up there and just kind of, and
just sort of
gently heckle the whole time. That'd be okay.
Well, I thought about that, but I think it's just best. I'll enjoy myself more if I step away. And tell the people you have a new record that's either out or coming out.
It's coming out July 15 on Free Dirt Records. It's called Peculiar Missouri. And I'll do a bunch of songs from it up here tonight.
Okay.
And it's Pink, which was a great decision.
All right.
Well,
Well,
you like
that
Pink records.
I like Pink. I mean, it worked for Nick Drake.
I wasn't familiar. I didn't do my homework.
Well, I didn't do my homework either in a lot of capacities, but I'm aware of the name of that record for sure, and the cover. And also, Sunny Day Real Estate also had a Pink album cover. Is anybody with me there? We'll look for. We got Terry is agreeing with me on that one, and we'll look for comments in the comment land on the colors of other. Now, let's just slow down, Robert. For other Pink covers of other records. And with that stumble, I'm going to get out of the way. Make him feel welcome down here at Boundary Bay. That's my friend Willi Carlisle.
Thanks. All right. Well, I was wondering what I should do up here, and I think I'm just going to do the hits. So we'll just do a hit from the 1930s to start off. So some of you that are a little older might not know it either. This is the Cotton Mill Colic. Now, let me clear this harmonica out. That's just... Well, let me tell you, people, something that's true. Work at the mill, tell you what you gotta do. Get up in the morning before daylight. Labor all day until it gets night. And you work all day and get pale in the face. Standing so long in the same darn place. Long comes the boss, hard as he can tear. Wants you to think he's a grizzly bear. It's ashes to ashes, dust to dust. You let the poor man live and the rich man bust. If you want to get your supper, boys, you better run. Blow that whistle right before you're done. Oh, when payday comes, oh, you won't have a penny to pay your bills, 'cause you got so many. Sometimes you hear a noise like a pecker would. Only the merchants trying to sell their goods. All those boys are just about gray, studying to get all the poor man's pay. It's ashes to ashes, dust to dust. You let the poor man live and the rich man bust. Well, some people run all the mill folk down. Mill folk people make the world go round. They'll have a little drink, have a little fun. When everything's done, they'll rake out the mud. I left the mountains when I was a strip. Never will forget that awful trip, 'cause I walked all day behind an apple wagon. When I got to town, my ass was a dragon. It's ashes to ashes, dust to dust. You let the poor man live and the rich man bust. When wintertime comes, there's hell to pay. Go to the boss, gonna have to say, I need a load of wood, need a ton of coal. If everything's bad, I'll go in the hole. Gotta buy groceries at some chain store. Can't afford to pay no more. And if I don't starve, I'm a son of a gun. You can't buy food without no money. It's ashes to ashes, dust to dust. You let the poor man live and the rich man bust. It's ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Let the poor man live and the rich man bust. Thank you. Thanks very much. Oh, let's see. That's an actual folk song. If you can't tell by its prodigious length. That guy, whose name I can't recall at the moment, released 3 different sides of that exact same song that go on for about twice as long as that. So if you thought that was a reasonably long folk song, they go on a lot longer. As long as I'm talking fast, I might as well do one that I wrote myself. This is about living in your van, but not in a cute way, you know. Late capitalism has a way of making everything Instagrammable, including a housing crisis, you know. So this is about the trials and tribulations of living in your van as a fashionably homeless person, which I have done for a while, and a little bit about everything else under the sun, too. If it ain't je ne sais quoi, I don't know what is. It's the van life. Well, I quit my job making minimum wage, look fairly well twice and act half my age. I'm looking for somewhere that can handle the rage of a young man on the run. With rarely paid taxes and awful insurance and a glove box full of summons and warrants and a finely tuned wish things were that weren't, you could say I was looking for fun. So I bought an 01 red Dodge Ram. I bought 2 pints of whiskey and a 30 of hams. Now I'm peeing in bottles and eating from cans. But you can't call me homeless, friends, 'cause I live in a van. They call it van life. I've been told this. It's a fine life. I've been sold this. It's a fine line between having to and choosing it. Let's roll up. Let's blow this. Well, the 7-Eleven is a sure belly ache, so I subsist upon a mere wake and bake. Oh, Talladega to Chicago's lakes, or I'll take your largest quesos. All the girls from Chickamauga to Passamaquoddy speak enviously of my van's rusty body, and this old thing might just be a Bugatti the way I get it from 60 to 0. Yeah, I'm 60 miles of Fargo on a northern track. I'm a burning rubber, no looking back. Pushing that thing like a maniac. I get tipped out like a stripper, no judgment. In singles and crack. Ooh, I wish Uncle Joe would fund Amtrak as a public utility. I'd take an Amtrak bus all the way up here because the trains weren't running already. Instead, it's the van life. I've been told this. It's a fine life. I've been sold this. It's a fine line between having to and choosing it. Let's roll up. Let's blow this. Well, the south of San Luis can be a little gritty. It's a far cry from Seattle's tent cities. All in all, life's pretty from the Starship Enterprise. Still a guy with a house and a big old lawn thinks his block's too good for me to park on. Bangs on my door with a letter that tells about 1,000 ways he can make my life hell. And he's worse than the guy who put a brick through my glass and robbed me blind, siphoned the gas. At least I know that guy needed it real bad. Oh, I wish that old bull well. In the meantime, a cop is banging on my door, telling me I can't park here no more. What do you do, friends? What do you say? You gotta rev up the engine. You rev up the engine. You don't always turn over on the first time. You gotta rev up the engine and drive away. Chalk it up to the van life. I've been told this. It's a fine life. I've been sold this. It's a fine line between having to and choosing it. Let's roll up. Let's blow this. It's a sexy kind of lifestyle for certain folks. Fractal highways and friends like smoke. It all goes up and you end up alone, like the internet is your real home. Call of the wild, the call of the road, the endless search for a clean commode. I'm a trucker of emotional payloads on a 5-string guitar. Yeah, I'm a public park patron, I'm a library sleuth, I'm a thrift store grifter of Western suits. I'm ringing out 3 chords and the truth like a wash rag on a bar. Every time I'm feeling down on my luck, think I might trade it in for a couple of bucks, I hear some guy like Elon Musk talk about how we're all gonna get cyber trucks. I think, God, life must be easy when you're one of these dang millionaire gentlemen. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that I prefer the van life. I've been told this, it's a fine life. I've been sold this. It's a fine line between having to and choosing it. Let's roll it up, let's smoke her down. It's a big rig, new town, same old night the whole world over, whole world over. Sitting sad and wondering why Meritocracy's alive. Oh, let's blow this. Thank you. Thank you very much, friends. It's a great pleasure to be anywhere at all, but particularly out here singing. I live in Arkansas right now, but I flew out from Wyoming, and I swear I had inhaled probably an entire dry bison turd by the time I left there. The air was so dry and miserable out there, and to be here just bathed in the sort of cold, clammy love that you guys give, I really appreciate it. Eventually, you want a little bit of cold, wet receptivity, you know what I mean? Not a dry seat in the house, that's what we're after, right? I'm sorry, I do kids shows too. I'm pumped too, yeah. Well, I'll be back too. All right, cool. We'll do the first single off the new record. This is a song about how I don't trust magicians. And if you must know why I don't trust magicians and why I would want to dissertate on it for an entire song duration, is because I've never been in, this is a weird profession. Folk singing is a weird profession, right? So as the token guy in a cowboy hat at most weird gatherings of artists, I've come to love just about every weirdo, the acrobats, the jugglers, the clowns especially, because if they can entertain a 5-year-old, they can entertain you, but I don't like the magicians. This one time I was cornered by 4 or 5 magicians in Orlando, and I was pretty deep in my cups, and they showed me the same rope trick over and over and over again, all trying to outdo each other. Either that or it was different rope tricks, I couldn't really tell. And, I got to thinking, well, this is really boring, but this is also one of those fading American professions. They're just feel lucky to have a captive audience, And surely there's a famous pop country song about auto workers or something, so I thought I'd add a song about, this other fading American profession that won't survive the TikTok generation, maybe in close-up magic. So this is Tulsa's Last Magician. Well, Tulsa's last magician got his start at 4, pulled a quarter from his own ear, spun it on the floor, said there's no good tricks but old ones, and lying ain't that hard. Then he saved up all his quarters, and he bought a deck of cards, and he learned ragtime piano, though his teacher thought him slow. He got a black belt in karate from a pawn shop video, and he'd practice all his worst mistakes in a dirty bathroom mirror. And when his parents drank, he learned to disappear. And his classmates thought him funny and good at sleight of hand, but he had this grand finale they just couldn't understand. Oh, it's hard to tell the whole truth of a family sawed in half. And that's why Tulsa's last magician left his home so fast. Well, down and out in Reno, gone broke in Santa Fe, turning tricks on Los Sueñeros out in California. Well, they pushed him up against a wall, said, buddy, get a grip. So he learned to set himself on fire on a Las Vegas strip. And he wandered down to Tampa and blew everybody's mind, 'cause the crowd was cheap and easy there on beer and blowing wine. They said, I wonder where my dollar went, had the flower bloom so fast. He said, I can't reveal my secrets, they rarely failed to ask. Yet a crowd all thought him funny, good at sleight of hand. He had this grand finale and they just couldn't understand. They demanded explanation when the card pulled was their own. And that's why Tulsa's last magician lost his faith and headed home. Well, he said he'd learn computers like his second foster dad, and free range all the rabbits that'd been living in his hat. His investments all went swimmingly, had to cash on hidden strings. His promotions were a certainty, couldn't make the numbers sing. Now time and space is easy for magic to control. Still it was 40 years of working before he noticed he was old. Now his great escape and act is just untying both his shoes. Most days he's in his easy chair yelling at the news. And the weatherman is funny, talking with his hands. But black clouds are coming in and no one understands that somebody's true religion is always someone else's joke. And that's why Tulsa's last magician kinda just went up in smoke. So friend, if you're the kind that thinks no one quite gets quite what you are, like you're a cobbler or a mechanic in this age of flying cars, if you think that you see right behind what's right before our eyes, you might be a small town's last magician in disguise. And we need you to be funny and be good at sleight of hand, 'cause there's a grand finale we can't hope to understand. And there's a 1 in 52 chance it's real magic and it's true. Won't you please help us believe? Won't you please help us believe in you? Thank you. Thanks, friends. Well, let's see. I brought this accordion up here like Chekhov's gun, so I need to play it. If you've ever heard it say that if a gun appears on stage in a play, it's surely going to get shot. I think of the accordion that way a little bit. Only slightly less dangerous. I'm not an actual cowboy. I always like to say that, especially in a room with young people in it. Cowboys only existed for like a really brief period of American history before they were replaced by things like barbed wire, very small innovations. Can you imagine having a job that was so difficult that it was replaced by barbed wire? Think about that a lot. But I have been lucky to learn some cowboy songs from some people. This is one of those ones that requires a little bit of background explanation in the classical folk music style, you know what I mean, where the song's a little bit windy and it requires a little bit of explanation, so I apologize in advance for that. And if you don't like my loquacity, well, then you can go ahead and get your loquace out of here. Workshopping all the new jokes, I guess. I didn't see that one coming. Well, this is one called Todo pasa en este mundo, which means everything passes in the world. And this is the true testimony of a guy named Antonio Lopez, who was born on his father's land in the 19th century somewhere near Santa Fe, New Mexico. Now this guy, Antonio Lopez, he worked on his father's land and wrangled cattle and stuff like that until his hair was as long as a buffalo. He never went to school one time, but he said, every time I was sleeping in the saddle, I could pull out a book and read a page as the sun was going down, right? Or a hard life this guy had. Well, so this water company came in the late 1800s as the railroad was coming through, and they bought up his father's land. They said, where's the deed? And his father said, well, hey, we don't have deeds. We just live here, right? The water company bought up all the land, kicked them off. This guy, Antonio Lopez, works his entire life up into the 1930s, works 40 years to buy back his father's land from this water company. And the Great Depression happens, right? And he loses all of his money. And then a WPA poet, a Works Progress Administration poet, that's somebody from the first Green New Deal that we had back in the 1930s, not the one that we're going to have in 2023. Is that... I'm sorry, I must be in the right environment for that, right, Robert? In Arkansas, I'd be dodging. I'm ready for it. But this Works Progress Administration poet comes and interviews this guy, Antonio Lopez, and says, hey, what was life like when you were a kid? And Antonio Lopez says, man, it was so great. We had plenty of water. That's the kind of hard times that he had. And he said, the WPA poet asks Antonio Lopez, hey, man, do you have any wisdom for younger generations? And he says, over and over again, todo pasa en este mundo. Everything passes in the world. So this is more or less that story. It was taught by that poet to my mentor in cowboy songs, Steve Cormier, in 1960. And then it was taught to me in 2010. So it's got a foot in 3 different centuries, which is pretty cool, I think. When I was a niño in Agua Fria, we had all the water we'd need, and the willows grew on the Rio, all the way down the Santa Fe. I tended my padre's cattle all the way from the arroyo long ago. For a month I slept on the saddle, my hair like a wild buffalo. Y el indio Antonio Dominguez played soft, sweet, and low for the dancers from all of the ranches. Todo pasa en este mundo. I loved to be home when the mills were turning, when everyone brought in their cane, and the pacifiers were burning, and children played among the beams. Those were the best of the good times, all memories my spirit must uphold. As the cane boiled out, we danced about, and marvelous stories got told. Y el indio Antonio Dominguez played soft, sweet, and low for the dancers from all of the ranches. Todo pasa en este mundo. When I was young, we had all the water we'd need. Now the water companies take it away. And now we grow our corn in our fields by the grace of God's green. And I know God knows what He's doing, that everything must come and it must go. I'll live and I'll die under this same sky. Todo pasa en este mundo. Y el indio Antonio Dominguez played soft, sweet, and low for the dancers from all of the ranches. Todo pasa en este mundo. Todo pasa en este mundo. Todo pasa en este mundo. Thank you. Thanks very much, friends. All right, so it would be an excellent question if you were to ask me, like, so what the hell are you doing singing the literal testimony of an indigenous farmer from New Mexico, right? And what I like to say is that a lot of good folk songs are snatched from the flames of eternity. You know what I mean? Is that these stories just barely reach us, and that one reached me in a way that it's not, it ain't Googleable, that particular one. It lives in one archive at one point in time. And the idea of trying to breathe a little bit of life into it is just trying to understand a little bit of what is a global condition. Because that same bit that happened back then in the late 19th century in New Mexico as the railroad was coming through, water companies buying all the land up, that's happening on the Indian subcontinent with Nestle right now. So I like to think of these old folk songs as like gifts, little dialectical materials that we can use to try to make the world a little bit of a better place if we can, which I don't think they always accomplish. I think that a song is actually like a pretty little thing, and direct action is always quite a bit more important. But I did learn the accordion because my dad played polka music. And as you may know, that polka music brought by colonizers down to South Texas, brought by German colonizers, but an accordion was brought down, eventually got picked up. And as the Germans in my family lost interest in all of their vernacular traditions on account of a couple world wars and so on, the folks that were colonized down there picked up the accordion and continued to make incredibly whip-ass music with it. Which I think is really awesome. So I'm going to do one of the older polkas, though, just really quick, just for the heck of it. This is the Happy Wife Polka after Mr. Frankie Yankovic. That's the Yankovic you're thinking of. Goes different every time. It's just to say it's not an intuitive instrument, the accordion, at all. Unlike the banjo, which is nothing but intuitive. I've heard it said that there are no notes on a banjo, that you just play it. I always really liked that. What is the name of the music store that we borrowed this marvelous banjo from? Champlin Guitars. Champlin. Sorry, I was going to. So Champlin Guitars loaned me this marvelous banjo, and apparently Robert walked in there and said that I was interested in banjos or something. And this happens to be an incredible antique that I'm going to just bang around on now. But there was a time when the banjo was more popular than the piano. You know, before you could get a whole piano from Sears Roebuck, it was pretty easy to get an incredible banjo from in the early days of manufacturing because the parts were reasonably small, right? And this is a relic from that time. I know that those of you that are on the internet can't see it, and everybody sitting down is too far away, but just trust me. It'll still sound, unfortunately, it still sounds like a banjo, though. No matter how much modern technology we have, we can't seem to get rid of that. I want to do another one off the new record. Sometimes I do this as a sing-along, but I don't need to tonight. Oh, good, it's in tune. Thank God. Oh, this is called Your Heart's a Big Tent. And I don't have any coherent theories about love. I'm a disaster. But I was walking around the streets of Winnipeg, and I was lost, and it was raining. And, the mean streets of Winnipeg, Manitoba, Never know what's going to happen. But the Universal hillbilly pulled over, the Universal Bubba in his truck, which is to say Universal Bubba in his truck is out here in the Pacific Northwest. He's in Kansas. He's over there. He's up there in Manitoba, And Universal Bubba is always like, hey, man, what do you need, right? I got to thinking, I was sitting there in the back of his truck and thinking, as he was driving me back to my place, and thinking, man, some people can just let everybody in all the time. So my therapist says this is a song about how I don't have good boundaries. But this is also the only coherent song about love that I think I've ever been able to write. Most of it's about heartache that I write. So this is called Your Heart's a Big Tent. You got to let everybody in. This morning a miracle happened as promised, the rising of the world's closest star. And the almanacs warned us that the fast-coming weather might blow us away like dandelion flowers. And if I had a nickel for every time I've taken shelter from the storm alone and naked in my bed sheets, I could pay off all my loans, buy some nicer clothes, find a job that didn't always scare me. I've been trying not to think before my third cup of coffee how the heart's a big tent. Gotta let everybody in. Doesn't matter who they are, if they do right or where they've been. Everybody gets in. I think I know a secret, still not really sure. Somewhere between I'm living and I believe I can fly. What's up? I saw the devil in the used bookstore. He was ripping up and spitting on Catcher in the Rye. And I'm coming to myself like a man finding religion. Am I baptized, drowned, or washed in the blood? If life's an open field, I'd like to plant a garden to get ready for the fire and the flood. I need a theory of all love, like the heart's a big tent. You gotta let everybody in. Doesn't matter who they are, if they do right or where they've been. Everybody gets in. My conclusion's not a good one. I'll leave that to you smarter ones. The soul is an idiot, it doesn't care why. Oh, whatever you do with it, the gift's a pretty simple one. Just sing until you love yourself and love until you die. And I've seen the trees like pillars full of blood, chlorophyllic laughing, swaying in their glory. I've seen the sparrows in the air, a light on branches there, and there's no way that they're afraid of being 30. If I can't live clean, then I'd better love dirty. 'Cause your heart's a big tent. Gotta let everybody in. Doesn't matter who they are, if they do right or where they've been. Everybody gets in. This morning a miracle happened as promised. The rising of the world's closest star. Thank you. Thanks very much, friends. It's not a coherent theory, right? So my shrink thinks I need to change it to your heart's a big tent. You got to let everybody in. Doesn't mean you get first in line at the buffet chafing dishes, but you can get in and maybe at least have scraps or like look for leftovers or have a clean, safe place to sleep. That's one of those pansexual folk songs you hear so much about. There's a whole genre. We're legion. I really just say that as like a call. As like, please, if you're a pansexual folk singer, let me know. We can compare notes. Anyways. I don't like it when, there's something about, I kind of like it. It defies a coherent marketing scheme because somebody wants to rainbow wash my work, and then it's, they're like looking forward to it, and then they're like, wait, I don't know how to talk about that. I think that's wonderful. That's all right. I'm a mystery to myself. Why would I want to be explicable to a marketing scheme? Oh man, 100 years of banjo technology in my hands. It's lovely. I know some of you are out here to see me because you know me already. Some of you are out here because this is Robert Sarazin Blake's wonderful Live from the Kitchen Table television show. Not even television, right? It's coming to you from the power of the internet through a series of tubes directly into eyes all around the world, which I just think is awesome. That's why there's a kitchen table in front of me if you're late coming. Shame on you because there's a whole lot of the show left to go. I'm going to do 3 more, and then we're going to get Robert back up here. That feel okay, Robert? Feel about right? Okay. And Robert and I are going to do a little song swap. This has been running for about 3 years now, this show, and this was the only fun live stream that I did over the pandemic. Well, that's why I'm here in the flesh when it returned. I want to do a sentimental song. This is called The Grand Design. I wrote this for my brother when he was thinking about ending his life, and I was not very helpful to him at all. I said, let's do a joint about it, or smoke a beer about it, or something. And I wish I'd been more helpful, so he's okay now, but this is what I wish I'd said to him instead. All I ask of you is your better years. All I know how to do is waste them. We'll philosophize on the grand design and mourn all of creation and rejoice 'cause I'm sorry and I tried. I'll rejoice if you're more than just a lie. Now let the gods that give the world its sins, let them lay their lights down low for you now. I know they said we'd meet in eternity, still I wait for you below somehow. Coming home, you should know I ain't the same. Coming home, forever changed. 'Cause there is evil enough in a half-full cup to tempt me towards that deep, dark find. When I believe in love and the things thereof, well, I know I feel you shine. And I don't know, but I heard that there is more. I'm uneasy knocking on the door. Thank you, friends. Thank you. Well, let's see. I don't believe I've ever been called king before. I do like that that's a new vernacular. In fact, the first time I can't tell the story of the first time I was ever called king. It's not good enough for the internet. I'll tell you later. It's actually too bad for the internet. Somebody said, "Know your worth, king." And that was because I refused to accept money for something. It was just that it wasn't enough money. It's not that I knew my worth, it was that I knew my worth was higher than that. Anyways, Kansas City is a hell of a city after midnight. Okay, let's see. Well, look, I've told the story. What do you know? I just used euphemisms. If you missed them, then euphemised them. Well, shoot, I said I was going to do 2 more. Do I do a long talking blues or do I do a couple of the hits? You tell me, Robert. Let's do the long one. Okay. All right. Okay. By talking blues, I just mean it goes on forever and it's sad. If you're looking for authenticity, you won't find it in this honky. This is the titular track on my new record. This is called Peculiar Missouri. This requires a little leap of imagination on the part of the audience, so I hope you'll join me in this leap of imagination. You have to pretend that you're in the van with me, okay? So let me give you, and we've been in there for about a month, so I want to do a little exercise, if that's okay, where we pretend, I show you how to pretend that you've been in the van with me for a few months. So you're driving, okay? So go ahead and put your arm out like you're driving, okay? Cool, all right. Now, when I point at you, you're going to say, sorry, okay? Here's a good way. Here's how you know you've been in the van with me for a month, okay? Go ahead and start driving, all right? Okay, there you go. That's the whole thing. Like I said, we're working the new material out. I hope a bunch of people at home did that on the internet. That'd be great for me. So here we go. We're driving home. Yeah, we're driving home after many months away. We're about to pass through the city of Peculiar, Missouri, as we do always, right before we hit the loving cradle of those hills of home. Yeah, now let me tell you, there's nothing odd about the city of Peculiar, M.O. Hell, you can look it up. Even the name's got a boring backstory. As an old railroad town that turned into a suburb that begat an exurb that turned into a certifiable USDA small town anywhere, everywhere, USA. You know, you've been there. Even if you have not been, it's the same all over the world. Yeah, if America had a great big waiting room, it'd be somewhere in the Midwest. And if that waiting room had a single crusty-ass ancient magazine in it with an unidentified substance, you know, gluing the centerfold together, you could open up to the centerfold of that Golf Digest or Men's Health or something like that. You could find a teeny tiny ad for the hamlet of Peculiar, courtesy of the Peculiar Board of Tourism, which is one old lady named Connie that hasn't had a date in like 9 years, you know. Well, and that little ad would proudly claim the town's motto, Peculiar, Missouri, where the odds are with you. And it's not weird if you find that you love it here. So friend, come on, remember we're driving, right? So let's pull off the highway. Let's get a little rest here before a long night of driving, yeah. We've been sleeping in the saddle for 6 days now, and I'm spent. Look out for that pickup truck, whoa! People drive crazy around here. Hang a Richard, a Ricky there. Okay, all right, there you go. Starboard. I bet you know where I'm taking us already, friend. Yeah. Short of any public amenities, there's about only one place you can rest and get a bite to eat after sundown in a little town like this. There's no BLM-free campground. The YMCA doesn't let people sleep in it anymore, and I think that was a dream of the 80s. So it's looking like we're going to hang out in the Wally World. Yeah. We got a standing invitation to the hideous halogen bulbs of the all-night Walmart, where an uneasy truce abides between the traveling kind and the mega corporations that keeps millennials and Gen Zers from getting regular jobs with their various degrees of overeducation. So I guess we're just going to go in there and have ourselves a little party. And the door slides open. We step inside. Can't you see how everything is glowing in here, friend? How that sweet old man greets us. How that blast of cool air hits us from that weird little air conditioner thing, yeah. Everything's resplendent with objects from China, Indonesia, Bangladesh, and beyond. So clean, so sweet, and so friendly. Oh, friend, I'm no fan of the way that late capitalism has replaced every single place in its small town with a single superstore. But I swear to heaven that I might just fall to my knees here at the glory and abundance of the sameness of all things partying away in the last age of this godforsaken Babylon. It's like we're waiting on the oceans to rise. It's like we're waiting for New York City and LA to get swallowed up. Like we're waiting for our own personal and private apocalypses. Well, friends, I think we might need to get the hell out of here. It seems like I'm having a come apart here in the cosmetics aisle. Why don't you give me a second to sit here and you go over to aisle 4 and you pocket a couple of twisted teas for us, okay? See if they have any Mad Dog 2020. It's a reference for the punk kids out there. Well, we're going to sit here and earnestly consider, friend, if we've been too much for the world. We're going to sit here and think about what color a lip gloss can cover up the joy and shame of living your own cursed existence. We're going to think about how we've maybe done too much in this world. How we haven't done enough of the right thing, but we've certainly done enough of the wrong thing. How we might be the last people on earth to have access to middle-class amenities while the rich pull up the rope ladder from over them, and then we all just kind of die slow deaths. Slow death was inevitable. Friend, are we going to steal this coral color of lip gloss or not? Well, let's go ahead and get out of here then. The door slides back open as we step out into the night. And the old man doesn't look so friendly anymore as we walk past him. And that was when, friend, you pointed up to a single shooting star. And you turned to me, and you said, "Give me hunger, O you gods that sit and give the world its orders. Give me hunger, pain, and want. Shut me out with shame and failure from your doors of gold and fame. Give me your shabbiest, weariest hunger, but leave for me a little love, a voice to speak to at day's end, a hand to touch in the dark room, breaking the long loneliness. In the dusk of the day shapes, let's be this one little wandering western star, thrust out from the changing shores, a shadow. Let's wait here in the dusk and know the coming of that little love." And for God's sakes, let's go home. Peculiar's always going to be here, and we're going to be passing down 70 westbound in a month's time anyhow. Maybe you let me drive the last leg of this one, friend. I'd like to sit and look out the window. I sure wish I knew what we were supposed to do with ourselves. If you get any bright ideas over there and sleep doesn't take you, I hope you'll let me know. Thanks, man. Thank you. That goes a little different every time I do it. Thank you very much. It's really nice to do. When I told I'd never had a record label before in my life, and when I told them that the centerpiece of the record was a 7-minute long talking blues that I improvise every time, they were like, "No, it's not. Please say it's not." And I said, "Please say that it is." And they said, "Okay, sure, fine." So on the record of that, there's a calliope and like a big cymbal crash and all kinds of cool theatrical BS I couldn't have thought of myself. So, all right, I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to let Robert get back up here. If I've been long in the tooth, I apologize. Todo pasa en este mundo. We're all going to die soon enough. I want to do one called Boy Howdy Hot Dog. The sing-alongular component of this is gospel style, so I go, "Boy howdy," and when I go, "Boy howdy," you go, "Hot dog," and that's the whole thing, okay? Let's try that one time. Boy howdy. Okay, good. All right, you got it. I knew there were some master's degrees in the audience. This is a collection of hillbilly portmanteaus collected erstwhile across the lower 48 by, once again, the Universal Bubba. Them coals are turning bright red, firewood's in the truck bed, river's running low this time of year. Ragweeds on the turnpike, bedrooms mostly Christmas lights. Sorry friend, I don't lend tools. Boy howdy, pretty good life. I got a pretty little house, pretty little wife, lets me fry her pork chop twice a week. Well, hot plate, baby went and made a cake and never seen a heaven that did not have a snake. Well, hot plate, baby went and made a cake and never seen a heaven that did not have a snake. Jay's a mean-ass bird, ugliest song you've ever heard. Get off my porch, I'll kick your ass. Everything she does is magic. I'll watch her catch a lizard. Careful or its tail will come right off. Boy, howdy, it's a pretty good life. I got a pretty little house, pretty big wife, lets me fry her catfish twice a week. Well, swamp rose, sweat stain, get money, make it rain, cold beer, tin can, Cadillac, Mustang. Yeah, swamp rose, sweat stain, get money, make it rain, cold beer, tin can, Cadillac, Mustang. Doctor asked me where it hurts, born to fish, forced to work. Don't let him tell you what your broken heart's worth. Fire ant on the sugar trail, tail feathers on a nightingale, arrowheads and bones is all you'll find. Boy, howdy, yeah, it's a pretty good life. I got a pretty little house, pretty little wife, lets me wear her underwear anytime I please. Well, she's thick as a forest and a cavalry of bushwhackers, never seen a bald number, bullets wouldn't scatter. Yeah, she's thick as a forest and a cavalry of bushwhackers, never seen a ball number, bullets wouldn't scatter. And there's a tiny little, I don't know how much people like nota benes in the middle of their songs, but a live stream seems like an appropriate time to do this because it's not a conventional concert, you know what I mean? We're sitting in front of a kitchen table after all. And Mr. Sarazin Blake, Dr. Robert Sarazin Blake is going to come up here. Not actually a real doctor, but, you know, a doctor of love is going to come up here. So the little nota bene that I like to say is that bald knobber there is not merely an excellent Ozark euphemism for pecker. A bald knobber is also a postbellum ne'er-do-well, a guy that rode around in southern Missouri on his horse in a funny hat that masked his face and would find former slave owners and string them up. So if you don't have a good impression of the Arkansas Ozarks or the Missouri Ozarks, I like to just say that this song is interspersed with little anti-fascist interludes through a little language test throughout there. Okay, all right. God dang, I'll be go to hell. This bar's mostly peanut shells. If you drive, we can play pool. Hot pocket, sweet potato pie. Saturday, Sunday rolling by. Take off your pants, let's watch TV. Boy, howdy, pretty good life. I got a pretty little house, pretty little wife. Let's see, I can't recall my ex-wife's name. But the love you lost is right where you left it. All right, gone forever, friends, go ahead, forget it. Yeah, the love you lost is right where you left it. All right, gone forever, friends. Go ahead, forget it. Them coals turning bright red, firewoods in the truck bed, rivers running low this time of year. Boy, howdy. Thank you so much, friends. Thank you for knowing all the words. You get Doctor of Love, Robert Sarazin Blake now.
That is my friend Willi Carlisle. Are we happy or what that he made it all the way here to Bellingham's backyard? Man! What a pleasure to have you here and have all of you here with us. You know what I mean? And let's have a round of applause for the tech crew back there. Usually David is on my side. He's only back there, and that's a big old only. We miss having him up here on stage. But we're easing back into season 5, and we're trying to do everything at the same time, which means we're doing less. Well, or he's doing less, or he's doing more. He's working more, but getting paid less. No, how is this working anyways? I'm not sure. But we also have a new member of our crew. That's John Henry, who's doing the audio recording tonight. Thank you, John Henry. And here in Boundary Bay Brewery, that's Sam Top, who runs the sound, always in a style. And I had the pleasure of actually hearing Sam's mix. And you sound good out there. You sound really good.
Thanks. You do too.
Well, thanks, man. That's
You
nice.
look good out
That's
there.
nice. Well, feeling good is halfway to looking good.
I'm feeling good.
Mars.
I'm feeling good.
Do you know we live in a town that has 2 planets as people?
2 planets?
Do we have more than 2 planets as people?
We got hella Mars, we got a couple Jupiters, and I met a Pluto recently. I know this doesn't count, but it kind of counts. It's a little county, you know?
It's a little county. Yeah, it's a little county. Out here, if you live in the Bellingham or in the city and everywhere else is the county.
I get it. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that makes enough sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
I go to the town I live in has only one restaurant, and it's also the gas station. And they say, "Are you going out to the county to get a load of hay or something like that?" So I think that's one of those universal. You're talking about towns. You know, I think that's a universal thing. Mars, however, there being hella Mars is not. That's
That's
weird.
a little more
That's
interesting,
weird.
isn't it? Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. Well, you go to the East Coast, you got towns, you got townships. You know, there's a variety of things out there. But I guess Kansas isn't so far from Washington State, where we both have counties.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm such a big fan of this man's songs, and how I ended up in that situation is because of streaming music and friends and a few jars sitting around a kitchen table. I can only guess because I really don't know. What I know is I was driving down to Seattle, and I had my phone that has through the streaming services a variety of music there on the device that I used to call my mother. There's all this music, and it was playing a variety of songs in a variety of orders, and I had no control over it. It was going, I was driving, and I heard the song. I said, "That's good." And I pulled over because I don't know how, when songs are being played at random on my phone, to go back. So I had to pull over immediately to see what it was I was playing and then get the whole album there. And all of a sudden, I was in Seattle. And for those of you who live in Bellingham and have done the drive to Seattle, anything that makes that drive disappear is a very, very special thing. And all of a sudden, I saw the Space Needle. I was like, this is a good record. Very good record. But the question remained, how did this record end up on my phone? I had no idea. It was on my phone, and I did not know how it got there. So the best I've come up with is that I was sitting around the table with Mike and Ruthie of the Mammals just outside of Woodstock, New York, the same night that the Brother Brothers were on tour and crashed at their house. And I think we were all talking about music, and somebody must have said this man's name, and I must have, in an alcoholic daze, downloaded that album to my phone, and then all of a sudden, years later, I was seeing the Space Needle, and that's how we got to have Willi on the stage with us right here in the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, the most northwest state. And I'm going to play this song now about young love in hopes that you'll play one of your own about young love. You know, usually in a song swap, you let the muses sort of flow, but it's a request, and I'm going to see if you can catch the request, you know. Yeah, Willi's thinking he'll catch it. This is also, I'm not sure if you can see the feather in my hat up here, but Jim Page once complimented me on the song I'm about to play. Yeah. Yeah, that's a feather. That's a peacock feather there in my hat. And Jim Page is the guest next Sunday at the kitchen table. Wherever you are, you can tune in. You can find us Sundays at 5 o'clock. This is a rare entrance into the world of Mondays with the kitchen table. You can find us all summer long. Well, let's be clear. May, June, and July. Find us on Sundays. We're slowing down in August because we got to get ready for the Jamboree and we need to recover from the Jamboree. So we're not doing Sundays. Where are we? Oh, the other reason I was going to play this tonight is because Louis Ledford was down here. I guess he's gone home or he's enjoying a marijuana cigarette. I'm not sure where he is right now, but he has a radio show called Unknown Fidelity, and he threatens regularly to play songs off of my first cassette, which is the one album that is unavailable on the internet. But this song is on my very first cassette, recorded in 1997, and I still play it if I'm trying to get Willi to play a song about young love next. All the hours spent tuning my guitar. You didn't have the ear for it. I didn't have the ear for it. You played notes on electric piano all afternoon to get it right. I walked you home. Yeah, I walked you home playing my guitar. We were friends then. Friends always think they'll be friends forever. And in a new school, you became my friend. Talking on the bus, noticing the REM button on your green jacket and blonde hair, nose turned up, not the kind of girl to go for mushy stuff. And I lusted after you once, but it was only for a short time. I remember what you were wearing, blue jeans and a big wool sweater. And I must admit, I thought about kissing you and putting my hand under it. The big wool sweater, but it was only for a short time. I thought you could handle it, Mars. I thought you could handle it, but yeah, a little. But if it rose the temperature just 1 degree in this most northwest corner, the most northwest city, the most northwest state season we call spring, I think that could be helpful. Where were we? That's right. And teasing you when we went to your first concert, and I had already seen Bob Dylan, Paul Simon, and Joan. And watching Robin Hitchcock, I remember you moshed. I think I tried it. I don't think I liked it very much. But I remember liking Hitchcock, and I can't imagine why. 'Cause when you're 14, water only falls from the sky. And girls you go to concerts with are always more than all right. And I lusted after you once, but it wasn't that night. I lusted after stardom and being in the lights. When the lights go down. And teasing me, you came to my first concerts. Oh, where were we? That's right. You came to my first concerts, and you laughed at my bad notes. You tried to protect your friends from me, but I wasn't afraid of embarrassing the only girl I had a crush on. And blonde hair, nose turned up, not the kind of girl to go for mushy stuff. And I lusted after you once, but she took your place. And she never really liked me. Junior high school, such a dangerous place. And friends always think they'll be friends forever. Thank you very much. Now we're going to see if Willie picked up on the bait that I threw at him.
Well, okay, so that was junior. Well, boy, junior high school love is very early. Oh,
I've had a tent for a very long time, Willie.
woo. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot tent pole. I want to do, this is just, it's lovely to be doing this kind of thing because that made me think of like something I don't know if I'll release and it's not released. And so I guess that's the idea, is that just to do something wild. So I'm going to do one, I was very much in love with somebody. I hope I can remember all of this. Very much in love with somebody who played great country music. They just knew every song. They grew up listening to this station called 93.8 God's Guns and Country Music out in Arkansas. And the result was they had picked out the best of that for a long, long time, and they could just sing for hours and hours. It was part of my education. And if she had too much to drink, she could sing The Red-Headed Stranger cover to cover. That Willie Nelson storytelling album. And she did it one time, and it became legendary. And then I made her real mad, and then she sang the whole thing, like closed off in a room. And I'm not sure she sang the whole thing because I'm not that familiar with the record, but it makes for a better story if I say that she sang the whole thing. But she sure could sing a lot of it. This is called My Baby Sings All of the Red-Headed Stranger Sometimes If She's Too Drunk to Cry. I don't know if that'll fit on a record LP sleeve. It'll cover the whole thing. Oh. My baby sings all of the red-headed stranger sometimes if she's too drunk to cry. Well, I fell in with a Stone County girl, rough as the country is white, wild as the bramble, blackberry tango, and sweet as the berries thereby. Now the soldier has his rifle, and the hangman has his noose, but my love has got her overalls and a tongue so sharp and loose. She's 3 beers deep in the throes of that poetry, making me vows she won't keep. She says she's unhappy, so dang unhappy in love, but she can't tell me why. My baby sings all of the red-headed stranger sometimes when she's too drunk to cry. Woo! There's the quiet drum shuffle, the taps of her shoes, and the peace of a cold, lonesome place. Well, sober, she might not remember the words, and Sunday's reserved for amazing grace. Now the preacher has his Bible, and the carpenter his tools, but my love has got the 6-string box and the words so soft and cruel. She's 6 beers deep in the throes of that poetry, making me vow she won't keep. She says she's unhappy, so dang unhappy in love, but she can't tell me why. My baby sings all of the red-headed stranger sometimes when she's too drunk to cry. My baby sings all of the red-headed stranger sometimes when she's too drunk to cry. Thanks, friends.
What we're going to do is I'm going to play one more, Willie's going to play one more, and then it will be time to Stump the Band. What is that, you're wondering? Well, Stump the Band is your chance to send us requests, and we take your requests and we do something with them. And then what we do with them is what you wait to see, to find out. That's right. We're going to play 2 more songs. That's going to give you a chance to come up with what it is you would like to request. And just like English class in junior high school, you better be prepared. because I'm not going to wait for hands to come up. I'm simply going to call on people and see what they've come up with. So you get 2 songs to decide what it is you'd like us to play next, and your chance will be then to stump the band. Are you ready, audience, for that? Yes. That's good. You don't have a choice. How many songs off of The Red-Haired Stranger can you do?
None.
None.
0.
0.
Absolutely
A hat
0.
like that, and we're 0. I mean, not even like a verse or a chorus or nothing.
I can do Merle Haggard, but I only do it in self-defense.
Now, that's a song title that also might be a little too long to put on. My buddy told me, Bart Budwig, have you come across Bart?
No, I have not.
Enterprise Organ. He's the Robert Sarazin Blake of Enterprise Organ. And if I may be so bold as to say, we love Bart. And I mean, that could be a put down in certain circles, so now I'm a little apologetic. But Bart put on his record, mothers don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys, at which point he learned that is the limit of what is allowed to put into ASCAP or BMI. That's it right there. And as much as he can figure out, that is ASCAP built that around Willi. So
Maybe yeah, I wouldn't ask for any more letters than that. I'm willing for song titles to be like tweets. We need to shut up eventually, right? Otherwise it'll be a paragraph song title. I would absolutely do that.
yeah, I'm not committing to that, but I'm willing to take that into consideration. You look good. I always love that dress. You always will. All the years that pass, it's all right. Sun was shining on your long hair. Last time it was winter, I didn't care. It's all right. I had my chance, you had your chance too. We've been kind, we've been fools. It's all right. We had a party last night, dinner in the garden. Candles on the table, one singer, one song. I was wishing you would be here. You would love it. I would love you. We smile. The small smiles flew across the street. I watched you. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Thank you very much. Willi Carlisle, for his second time here in the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, the most northwest state in the lower 48, as though I have come to understand, I must express to you that the last time he was here, he was in the county. So arguably, this is your first time in the most northwest corner.
Yeah, it's my first. Yeah, I was in the county, and then when we hung out, it was digital. I existed only in the Box of Light.
The Box of Light. It's like it's almost a Grateful Dead song. See a little box of light and it's all rain?
You got me. I don't know. I only know Dead songs in self-defense too. That's the second track.
No Grateful Dead and no Redhead Stranger.
It's an unfortunate fact of being a regional folk singer interested in folk songs that you tend to hear something on the radio and you're like, get that. I don't want that in my brain.
Yeah.
I want because you're trying to defend ancient melodies or something. That's the way I think.
Well,
of
don't ask me to sing Pearl Jam. Okay, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
on this,
that's a little what I mean.
Yeah.
But you do have to be responsible for whatever guy in Squared Toes is ready to throw a Lone Star at your head if you don't play some Chris Christopherson or something.
And I enjoy that.
Which is good. Yeah, I like that too. I want risk.
I do want risk.
Yeah.
And a Lone Star isn't so bad when it's warm out.
No. As far as regional beers go, I would put it at the bottom. But
That depends what region you're in.
Every time I'm in Texas, I raise it up and say, boy, you guys' microbreweries are just getting worse. I love that. But being from Arkansas, we just love to make fun of Texas just because we know that it'll be like they're going to invade us any minute. So we have to set strong boundaries.
You feel that way, and they don't even know you exist. It's a Texas thing. Well, you are halfway to Stump the Band, so I hope you have your request coming at you, and you're going to be ready here in one song's time to send us requests. I'm going to let you know we're going to get 3 requests, and then we're each going to do the best we can with something of what you've given us. So until then, we get a song by a great songwriter from Illinois, Arkansas, and points in between that he knows.
You did one about everything being all right.
God, that was kind of a generous thought of mine, wasn't it?
Yeah. I want to do one that is also about everything being all right. Something simple, something I can honestly say is all I got to sing today. Nothing special, it's nothing that'll blow you away. All I got to sing today is hallelujah, is hallelujah, I guess hallelujah. And as for working, I still don't care for money. I care more about my Sunday. And as for loving, I don't feel any smarter. I'm less likely to call my mother and sing hallelujah, hallelujah. If I was gonna die tomorrow, for sure tonight I'd sing how this living in sorrow might make the end a welcome thing. If there's a better life waiting just beyond a human being, I guess hallelujah. And as for you and your little black skirt or wet towel when you're late for work, I still remember how I felt like dirt. And if I ever get over that hurt, I'll sing hallelujah. And as for all the folks I've lain with, and earnest love and lonesomeness, there ain't a thing that I can't forgive when I hear 3 notes or less of hallelujah. If I was gonna die tomorrow, for sure tonight I'd sing how this living in sorrow might make the end a welcome thing. If there's a better life waiting just beyond a human being, just beyond a human being, just beyond a human being. Hallelujah. Whatever chord is struck, when a body hits the ground, I hope I'm strong enough. I can make a joyful sound like hallelujah. I guess hallelujah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. I haven't done that in a long time.
Beautiful. Is that on a record?
No, it's not. I just wanted to do things that weren't on a record for fun because
Yeah.
of the.
Yeah.
Don't want the first thing to come to mind to be something I've played 6 nights this week. You know.
That's
When
why
you-
that's the kitchen table.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
That's the kitchen table. Well, it is time to stump the band here at the kitchen table, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what sort of requests are brewing in the minds of the citizens of this very mid-range temperature place that we all live in here. It's certainly not cold and it's certainly not warm. We're just right there in the middle. And,
It's so cold.
yeah, well, we are cold, but the temperature's not cold. It's just that we're cold because we're in a mid-temperature. Yeah, and
That's brutal.
once you look at it that way, it's something it's a reason to go on vacation in anywhere between February and I don't know June 25th, but just to warm up. Now let's just get on to stump the
Yes.
band here. I mean, I like talking about the weather because it's something we can all relate to, but I cannot help but ask for requests from the young lady because I think she has a bandana around her neck, as a red bandana maybe, and I don't know if it's a Jamboree bandana, but I certainly hope next year at this time she's wearing a Jamboree bandana. And what is your name?
My name's
Cassidy.
Cassidy. After a Grateful Dead song. So
Oh.
Hey, there's room for it all. There's room to love the Grateful Dead, and there's room to hate the Grateful Dead. And what we do is we just erect the big tent in our hearts. I've learned that tonight. Previously, I felt different. The question is, what would you like to hear one or both of us sing tonight? Well, she's consulting with her better half. She's a team. She is love-oriented. She's thinking, I don't want to just charge into the world without my companion. And she's chatting with her companion, and that's a beautiful thing. And I'm not sure if it's Cassie or Cassidy.
it's Cassidy.
Cassidy, yeah, Neil, we're with you.
We would like to hear some
Mariah Carey, that's a request. That's something that can be requested, and we're going to move right along. Now, I want to remind everybody, we get all 3 requests up top. It doesn't mean we're not going to do the first request just because we get all 3 up top, and then we
I'm so bad at this.
we carry on and we do the best we can. And this glowing entity off to stage left, I just feel like this is the kind of person who I could walk home with. Do you have a request for Willie or myself, or both? Oh, you do. Good request. And you can tell everyone this is your song? Is that the one? Is that Danny's song? No, I'm getting a look from Willie like I've just made a blunder. Well, I've done it in front of you and the internet and God and everybody else. Danny's song by Loggins and Messina. They co-wrote that song in a motel room in Los Angeles after drinking a bottle of Chablis. And what most of us don't know is originally the character was a D-A-N-I, but they decided to mix it up there for the track listing. Okay, moving on to the third request. We're going to look sort of over to this, somewhere out there. And, we have hands in the air, eager beavers there. They've been thinking about this. They're the English students that the English teacher doesn't call on right away because they always have the hand in the air. They've done the reading. They have an opinion. They want to tell you all about it. And I would call on Pete, but this guy's put his hand in the air twice, Pete, whereas you only put it in the air once. So the man in the puffy jacket and the hat there, hand in the air, what do you got for us?
Oh, thank God.
We got a Blaze Foley request and a sigh of relief from the man on my left, and the thing of it is I have 3 or 4 Mariah Carey that I would love to play for you tonight, but being that we only get the chance to see Willi Carlisle in the flesh very rarely, and you can come see me every Thursday here down at Boundary Bay Happy Hour, and I'll sing Mariah Carey for you. Then we're going to move right along with the show, and sounds like you're going to blast into some Blaze.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying. I was really trying hard to think of Mariah Carey because one of my first loves.
Blaze Foley in the style of Mariah Carey.
Let's see. Well, do I do the clay pigeons or big cheeseburgers? Okay, all right. I taught my former guitar student Henson is down there. He's coming to Bellingham later. What is it? Later this year, next year, right? In September to go to school up here because it's such a nice place up here.
Did you come up from Seattle for the gig?
I know, right? They heard me sing last night. Henson played this on stage last night, and you play it better than I do now. Here it is, big cheeseburgers. Got an angel of a woman with big brown eyes. Folks in the country, old neckties, big cheeseburgers and good French fries. You could go fishing, but the fish draw flies. You could go swimming if it ain't too deep. I'd rather just sit here, rest my feet. No, I ain't lazy cause I don't like to sleep. I might just be lazy to you. I wanna live in the city, have a telephone. I wanna live in the country, throw a dog a bone. Ride in a spaceship, trying to get lost. Mama's trying to tell me about the Pentecost. I'd ride a bicycle, but my ass gets sore. Sell a holy Bible door to door. Used to be stupid, but I ain't no more. Might just be stupid to you. I love that lyric so much. Well, I like to drink beer, hang out in the bars. I don't like buses, don't like cars, don't like presidents, don't like stars. Ain't got stitches, but I do got scars. I love to go to parties and I love my friends. I got no books, it's got bookends. Think I'm crazy, but that depends. I might just be crazy to you. Well, this story is old, it's been told before. That's all there is to it. Here's some more. My buddy's coming over from the liquor store. Joe's gonna dance till his feet get sore. I love my woman loves me. I don't go skiing cause I can't ski. That kind of thing never did bother me, so it shouldn't be bothering you. I got an angel of a woman with big brown eyes. Folks in the country, old neckties, big cheeseburgers and good French fries. Could go fishing, but the fish draw flies. Yeah, I could go swimming if it ain't too deep. I'd rather just sit here, cool my feet. No, I ain't lazy cause I don't like sleep. I might just be lazy to you. It don't seem that crazy to me. Oh, it shouldn't be bothering you. Might just be stupid to you. Woo! Thank you, Mariah.
We're going to do one more together, and then we're going to wrap this thing up with a wrap-up song. Would you be willing to play a little more banjo?
Yeah.
We got noodling around on this one while we were checking the microphones. And a song I wrote called Part of the Way to Maxine. My grandmother is Maxine Sarazin. And so this is sort of an advice song of advice she didn't give, but maybe I felt. But I've forgotten, well, most of the lyrics, so I always have to make them up. And so I thought, well, let's do it with another man who can make up the verses just as well, because I know that he can do it. And if not, we'll just do the chorus over and over and over, and it'll just get deeper and richer each time. So we'll just see how that...
Okay.
How's that? thank you very much, everybody, for coming out to Boundary Bay Brewery, Bellingham's backyard. We're in the beer garden now. We're going to be in the beer garden again many, many more times before October comes. Come see us every Thursday for happy hour, and, of course, the Twilight series after that. This Thursday, we have, it's a soft opening. It's a special invite to all the educators of Bellingham School District. You're all welcome too. And Chris Glass, the only educator in my band, will be in the band that Thursday. And following that, we have this Tall Poppy string band coming along with locals Virginia Rail. So that's Thursday, and the party goes on and on. And what can I tell you? Thank you, Willie, for being here. Oh, part of the way to Maxine. Part of the way to Maxine. Part of the way to Maxine. Oh, part of the way to Maxine. Part of the way you'll be doing the math. Part of the way you'll be reading Sylvia Plath. Part of the way you're gonna be sick in bed, holding on to an aching head. Part of the way to Maxine. Part of the way to Maxine. Oh, part of the way to Maxine. Oh, part of the way to Maxine. Oh, part of the way you'll be giving yourself a little slack. Part of the way you'll be lying around in a country shack. Part of the way you'll be driving in your car. And part of the way they'll be kicking you out of the bar. Oh, part of the way to Maxine. Part of the way to Maxine. Oh, part of the way to Maxine. Oh, part of the way, play that old banjo. Part of the way you'll be enjoying a pretty smile. Part of the way you'll be singing a song written by Willi Carlisle. Oh, part of the way you'll be wishing you could borrow his hat. Part of the way you'll be wishing you could give it back. Oh, part of the way to Maxine. Part of the way to Maxine. Oh, part of the way to Maxine. Oh, part of the way to Max. You got one, Willie?
I wouldn't think.
Well, that's not necessary. Neither was I, come to think of it.
If you come to see Robert Sarazin Blake, if you come to see Robert Sarazin Blake, if you come to see Robert Sarazin Blake on Thursdays here, your thirst for folk music will be slaked. Part
Of the way to Maxine. Part of the way to Maxine. Oh, part of the way to Maxine. Oh, part of the way, play that banjo again. Everybody now. Oh, part of the way to Maxine. Part of the way to Maxine. Oh, part of the way to Maxine. Oh, part of the way part of the way to Mac. Well, this is a good enough place as it is to say goodnight. Thank you, everybody. That's Gillian on the door, Sam Top on the sound. That's Janet Leitner and Madison making this ship run each day, every week of every month of every year. That's John Henry, his first time on the gig, making the audio recording. That's my partner in this endeavor. That's David Penderlofgren over there, making everything work better than it would work. In fact, not only better, but making it work in the first place. One last course, we're going to send Willie down the line. He's sold out of all of his merchandise.
I have stickers they can have for free.
Stickers for free. You don't know your own worth. And what can we say? Maybe if we're lucky someday we'll talk Willie into coming out here for the jamboree. Oh, part of the way, Maxine. Part of the way, yeah, part of the way to Maxine. Oh, part of the way to Maxine. Oh, part of the way, just the audience. Let's see how it's going.
Part of the way.
That's good. Part of the way to Maxine. Woo! We'll see you next time. Thank you very much. That's Willie Carlisle, Robert Sarazin Blake from The Kitchen Table.